This is the Dallas Morning News. It's Wednesday, August 20th. It will be mostly cloudy with thunderstorms rolling through the area today. The high will be 94. More thunderstorm activity is expected tonight with an overnight low of 77. Here are today's headlines. A Fort Worth lawmaker's sit-in on the Texas House floor picked up steam late Tuesday as fellow Democrats flocked to her side for the second night of her round-the-clock vigil after she refused to allow a state trooper to shadow her until the chamber could vote on a new congressional map. Representative Nicole Collier, who has been on the House floor since noon Monday, said, "I'm so grateful for their support. There has been a crowd out here all demanding my release, and they're doing what they can to show their resistance. They're tired of this government overreach." 24 hours earlier, Republican House Speaker Dustin Burrows told Collier and the rest of the Democrats on the floor, who had been absent the previous 2 weeks, that they could not leave the House unless they were accompanied by a Texas Department of Public Safety agent or officer every minute they aren't in the Capitol. Collier refused the police escort, choosing instead to spend the night at her desk. She began live streaming on her social media accounts just after midnight. Collier said in an interview with the Dallas Morning News that it's ridiculous the lengths that Republicans will go through just to get what they want and to punish us. We've got to be able to stand up to the bullies and let them know that you're not going to push us around and intimidate us. We have rights too. Tuesday evening, some of Collier's colleagues who had signed their permission slips rejoined her and ripped theirs up in an act of defiance against what they called an illegal act of authority and a waste of taxpayer dollars. In other news, Fort Worth police said Tuesday that a driver who was shot a day earlier while in traffic has died from his injury, and a suspect is now facing a murder charge in connection with the shooting. Police have not publicly disclosed the identity of the victim or the suspect as of Tuesday evening. Police were called Monday around 2:51 p.m. to the 4600 block of East Berry Street to investigate a report of a vehicle accident involving a driver who was found suffering from a gunshot wound. Officers found a man at the scene, and he was rushed to a local hospital, where he was initially listed in critical condition. The man later died from the injury. Detectives said the man was traveling eastbound on Berry Street when another driver pulled alongside him and shot at him. The suspect was initially arrested and expected to face an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon charge, but police said they will now pursue a murder charge. Police did not immediately disclose a motive for the shooting or say if the suspect knew the victim. Next up, new data shows electric vehicle sales in Texas continue to rise, but the charging network remains spotty. The automobile class represented just under 7% of the state's new light-duty vehicle sales in the first quarter of this year, according to an analysis by the Alliance for Automotive Innovation. That is a nearly 7% increase over the previous quarter and more than 6% over a year ago, putting Texas in the number 22 spot for EV market share. But the state's EV drivers are still facing a lagging public charging network. There are more than 370,000 EVs on Texas roads, but only about 10,900 public charging outlets, about one for every 34 EVs. That's just behind the national average of 30 vehicles per port. While much EV charging happens at home, owners without home charging infrastructure, like those living in multifamily complexes, rely heavily on public stations, as do those traveling beyond the bounds of daily commutes. And it's been nearly 4 years since Texas implemented one of the country's most strict and punitive abortion bans, ushering in the most seismic change to women's health care in a half-century. The Dallas Morning News set out to explore how overlapping abortion laws in Texas have altered the landscape of obstetric health care across the state. Through more than 100 interviews with physicians, researchers, healthcare experts, patients, and families, reporters documented deviations from what was in the best interest of the patient and other unintended consequences. Standard of Fear, a new investigative series reveals how the abortion laws have been sweeping in their collateral damage, leaving patients, families, and medical providers caught in the middle. Read the entire series now at dallasnews.com/Texas abortions. Thanks for listening. For more on today's stories and the latest breaking news, visit dallasnews.com. Enjoy your day, and I'll be back tomorrow with more from the Dallas Morning News.